Hi everybody, Robert Dyer, and welcome to the Robert Dyer channel, where today I have an incredible cage match showdown of gas station beef and cheese. That's right, we've got in one corner Slim Jim, mild beef and cheese, Big Boss. And in the other corner, we have Old Wisconsin beef, sausage, and cheddar cheese smokestack. Holy smokers. Big Boss versus smokestack. This is like Ric Flair versus Roddy Piper. And you can see there's a clear back here. It's one of those peel apart deals. And you're steaming down the road in your big rig or your big oversized SUV, and you turn off the interstate to the mega gas station, and you're famished and you go charging in the door, but it's 2022 and you don't have any money anymore, and so you have to turn to the counter where there's buckets filled with beef and cheese sausages. This is the American way. Okay, so let's take a look at the packaging here, and I have to say that the first impression is that the Old Wisconsin is much more aesthetically pleasing. First of all, their package is longer, so you get the idea the product is. We'll find out if that's true or not. Secondly, and more or equally obviously, is that the packaging of the Slim Jim is much flimsier, and it's gotten all mashed down from where it was stuffed into the little carton, whatever it was propped up in. Whereas the Old Wisconsin is very slick and flat, much more appealing if you're looking at both of them. And also the other thing you notice is that they're not hiding the product on the front here. You see the illustration of the two food products inside, where over here you've got flames and logos. It says Big Boss, a great font for that. Definitely gets that attitude across, but they're not showing us the product on the front. Well, and it looks like this round is also going to Old Wisconsin, which is still on the right here. Because take a look at this. Let's try to even them up. There at the top, and you go down, and uh-oh, it's not even close. Old Wisconsin definitely giving you more in the package. I will note that the Slim Jim sausage is slightly thicker. You probably can see that. Well, whether it's enough to add up to that extra centimeter or so, I'm not sure. The cheese sticks both look about equal. A little bit thicker sausage on the Slim Jim, and a longer sausage and a longer cheese stick on the Old Wisconsin. Also notice the color difference, maybe simply different meat ingredients. I also like this little, I don't know what you call it, a little seal here from the state of Wisconsin, as someone who has ancestors who came from there. You've got the little barn and the cows and the hills in the background. Wisconsin cheese. So they're taking great pride in that that's where the cheese came from. And it's a great little piece of art there, in my opinion. And that's something else you notice on the package here, that it's coming from Wisconsin, whereas this one coming from Chicago, Illinois. I also noticed that the Slim Jim has 6% more protein, but it also has much more salt here. 1390 milligrams versus 1030 for the old Wisconsin. About 10% more fat, same amount of cholesterol, so the old Wisconsin is a little healthier. How that translates to taste, we're about to find out. Now I got these out of the package, and it takes some doing. These are somewhat greasy, and you got to be careful. One jerk of the package and they go all over the inside of the car, so you gotta be careful. I noticed the Slim Jim came out, the cheese and the sausage were better lubricated. They slid right out of the package. So now I'm going to start here with the Big Boss Slim Jim. The aroma smells pretty good, pretty much like what a Slim Jim smells like. A little bit of spice to it. Let's go ahead and see how it tastes. Well, I'll say that there's a little snap to the exterior, and that exterior casing is the part that you chew a little bit more than the interior, but overall it's a pretty tender sausage. Now let's try the old Wisconsin smokestack sausage. This one has not quite as spicy an aroma, much less aroma overall. Let's go ahead and see how it tastes. Well, the old Wisconsin smokestack sausage, it gives way much easier. It seems softer when you bite into it, but it is much tougher than the Slim Jim Big Boss. As the aroma suggested, it's not quite as spicy either. It's got a slightly different combination of meats in it also, I think. Certainly a much lighter flavor, but quite rubbery after the first 2 or 3 chews of it. And then it becomes sort of like a rubber tire after that. So I think the Slim Jim has won the sausage part of the competition here rather decisively. Now let's try the cheese sticks. This is the Slim Jim Big Boss cheese. Has a nice sharp cheddar aroma. Let's go ahead and see how it tastes. Well, I'm not overly thrilled with the texture. I don't think Cracker Barrel has anything to worry about, but as far as the flavor, it's got a very nice sharp cheddar flavor to it, like it's a well-aged cheddar. So the texture is hearty, but it's a little more crumbly than something like Cracker Barrel would be. Okay, I've cleansed the palate, and now let's go to the old Wisconsin smokestack. Smokestack broke in half. They're really coming down those coal plants around the country, I guess. Apparently not as durable as the Slim Jim cheese stick. The aroma, slightly sharp, but not quite that sharp, strong aroma. I don't know what it is about the Slim Jim. It's got much stronger aroma. Now, this is Wisconsin cheese. This is in my blood, so they can't let me down on the cheese part here. let's go ahead and see how it tastes. Smokestack. Well, it does taste good, and it's a lot easier to chew than the sausage that came in the package of the smokestack. But I am shocked and dismayed.
Bob, this is TarnationBob. I've just left the Charles Manson Institute for Strategic Studies in Huber Heights, Ohio. I'm heading to the Dayton International Airport, where my private jet is fueled and awaiting takeoff. I hope you've got plenty of eggnog for another exciting Christmas countdown, December 1st.
Shocked and dismayed, I say, that this cheese isn't whipping the Slim Jim cheese. It looks like the Windy City has beat out Wisconsin on beef and cheese. I am shocked by this. My ancestors didn't just come to Wisconsin, they were pioneers and settlers in Wisconsin, and I don't think they would have put up with having second-rate cheese. So the cheese does taste good. It is slightly sharp cheddar, but it doesn't have quite the intense flavor of the Slim Jim cheese, much as the beef stick did not have the intense flavor of the Slim Jim sausage. So I'm awfully surprised. I thought the more traditional and down-home aesthetic of the old Wisconsin packaging was maybe hinting that we were getting something more authentic and full flavored than what you'd expect from a very, very commercial brand like Slim Jim. But this has been, I'm afraid, a knockout punch. That Slim Jim Big Boss really was the boss of this competition. I think if you're heading down the interstate and you've got to hold yourself over from this exit to the next one, that this will probably be enough to keep you satisfied for that length of time on the highway. Very greasy, but I give another point to Slim Jim that it didn't break in half and leave a greasy stain on my leg, my pants, and on what might have been my carpet in my vehicle. Fortunately, I'm not driving at the moment, or I would have gone off the road when the cheese stick broke in half. So that's something else to think about when you're manufacturing a product that many people are going to be trying to eat in their car. But both of these are quite greasy. It did help that the Slim Jim was the greasiest because it made it easier to get it out of the package. And I guess with that fat comes more flavor, much more flavor with the Slim Jim, much more tender beef. So I am going to give the Slim Jim beef and cheese, because we're just talking about beef and cheese products, I'm going to say a very solid 4 stars out of 5. And the old Wisconsin, 2 stars out of 5. If the beef had been more tender in the old Wisconsin, I think it would have been plenty satisfactory. It's got a decently good flavor to it, but it's just so dang hard to chew. And then the cheese, it could be a little sharper. It may have had a slightly better texture than the Slim Jim cheese, but overall it's really no contest here. Slim Jim is the winner and champion with the Big Boss. Hope you like this video. Share it with your friends. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.